My fiancé once had this unforgettable first love, but that guy tragically perished in a pretty bad car crash. Right before it happened, I actually pulled her back, stopping her from getting in, which miraculously saved her life. But after surviving, she actually suspected I purposely caused the crash out of pure jealousy, just to eliminate her precious first love. And because of that insane delusion, she spent her entire life absolutely hating my guts. Even at the very end, she blamed me. She said she would rather have perished with him than be saved. When I opened my eyes again, it was back on the exact day she chased after his car. This time around, I will not stop her. The train whistle echoes, fading away into the distance. Unlike my past life, I am not desperately trying to stop Lu Nuyen. Not anymore. Getting back home, my mom immediately grabs my arm, incredibly worried. She says Nuyen got into a terrible accident at the intersection with a truck, and nobody knows her current condition. We hurry to the hospital to check. Seeing Lu Nuyen's mother standing there, it finally hits me. I have truly been reborn into the past. A whole group of people huddles outside the operating room, pacing around anxiously like ants on a hot pan. When the doctor finally walks out, asking for the patient's family, you know how chaotic these moments get. Her parents completely lose it, leaving me as the only one who can actually speak clearly with the doctor. The patient suffered severe fractures all over her body, and both legs are heavily damaged. She might literally never stand up again. Hearing this horrible news, her mother just goes completely limp and faints. Feeling totally helpless, I tell them it is lucky she even survived. The doctor simply says they tried their absolute best, then hands me some paperwork to sign. He assumes I am her husband, asking for my signature. I just smile, faintly. She is merely my fiancée, so we have no legal ties yet. The doctor then calls for actual relatives, and finally her dad, still holding onto a tiny bit of calm, signs the papers. In my past life, saving Lu Nuyen ruined my own legs, completely crippled. I saved her, yet I became the villain who ruined her first love in her eyes. Pressured heavily by her parents, she reluctantly had to marry me. For years after that, she always stared at me with the absolute coldest eyes. Inside our bridal room, she kept my Kaiba's picture on display for her entire life. I watched her fade from a bright, radiant young woman into a completely withered, exhausted wife. Right before she passed away, she grabbed my collar, grinding her teeth. "Deep fam," she said, "I would rather have perished back then than let a cruel monster like you save me. Why didn't you just disappear forever?" Turns out, she always secretly wanted me completely gone. This time around, I coldly watch her walk right into the tragic ending she always wanted. I will absolutely not interfere with her and that precious first love anymore. My mother looks so depressed, wondering how such a good girl ended up in this terrible state. Nuyen's mom cries endlessly, wiping away her tears while apologizing to me. She admits she knew for a long time that her daughter had an unforgettable first love, but never expected her to do something this incredibly foolish. I just lower my head in silence. My mom's face changes, but she stays quiet. Suddenly, a loud crashing noise echoes right out of the hospital room. We rush inside, finding Lu Nuyen trying to get out of bed. Instead, she collapses hard onto the floor, knocking over the furstand and a water glass. Her mother sprints over in tears, begging her not to move since she just got bandaged. Lu Nuyen tightly grips her mother's hand in pure, raw panic. She cries out, asking why her legs will not move at all. Her heartbroken mother just covers her mouth, weeping silently, far too scared to tell the brutal truth. Finally, I speak up, my tone complicated. I tell her the doctor said both her legs are severely shattered, and she might literally never stand up again. Lu Nuyen slumps on the cold floor. She trembles, muttering that it is impossible. Growing up so incredibly proud, there is no way she can handle this brutal shock. Her mother hugs her tight, crying and promising to find the absolute best doctors to cure her. The doctor finally has to step in to stop this chaotic scene, strictly ordering that the patient needs immediate rest and absolutely cannot move around. I just stay silent. Think about it. Isn't this tragic ending exactly what she begged for in our past life? She preferred facing the end over me saving her. She survived this time, sure, but she will never be able to stand back up again. Desperate to heal their daughter's legs, her parents run everywhere, begging for favors and tracking down famous medical experts. Her dad has been a really cautious businessman for decades, yet, facing his daughter's condition, he totally loses his composure. In just a few days, his hair turns noticeably gray. Unable to accept being bedridden for the rest of her life, Lu Nuyen throws constant fits. Crashing sounds of broken things echo from her room every single day. Her mother cares for her day and night, exhausting herself until she literally faints in the corridor. I haven't wanted to see her these past 2 days, but my mom forcefully pulls me aside. She scolds me for having absolutely no conscience, saying we are engaged and I should be caring for her. Extremely tired, I tell her that Nu Yen already has someone she loves. I ask if she even knows why her legs ended up like this. My mom just gives me a confused look, urging me to go visit my close childhood neighbor. Anyway, I let out a heavy sigh, frustratedly rubbing my head, but finally give in. Fine, I will go look. The second I step into the hospital room, a glass completely shatters right at my feet. Seeing me, Nu Yen turns away, ing out a faint, mocking scoff. She demands to know why I came just to see how pathetic she looks. Standing at the door without stepping inside, I answered dryly that my neighbor got hurt, so why wouldn't I visit? In my past life, right until she took her last breath, she despised me. My peaceful days vanished long ago, but in this life, I am wide awake. There is absolutely no way I'm repeating those same pathetic mistakes again. She was totally right. We were just fiancés, not actually married yet. So this time around, she can have exactly what she wants. No more TIs. No more heavy expectations. We are just simple neighbors. Now, seeing me standing right at the door, refusing to enter, she reached for her phone. Her legs lacked all feeling, and the device was too far away, so she finally asked for my help. She asked me to check if my KB sent her any messages. She had been stuck in the hospital for 2 days without her phone. Sure, he was worried sick. I picked up her phone and looked. The screen was completely blank, not a single unread notification. Opening WeChat, their conversation stopped. Exactly on the day Liu Nhyn had her accident. He wrote, Nhyn, let us run away together. If we do not, then we cut all TIs and never see each other again. Liu Nhyn begging, AB, can you just give me a little more time to pack my things? And my KB left behind one completely cold reply. 10 minutes later, at our usual spot, if you do not show up, I leave alone. After finishing that chat, my heart still gave a painful little squeeze. Crazy, right? Turns out they actually planned to elope back then. Because I stopped it, she held a grudge against me for years. In my past life, I actually saved her life. In return, got pure hatred, endless curses, ruined legs, and was forced to completely abandon the one career I truly loved. Maybe because I stayed quiet for too long, Liu Nhyn anxiously spoke up, asking if my KB had sent her anything at all. She was so sure. He was getting impatient with zero contact. I replied with a totally cold tone, getting my payback. Maybe he saw you were crippled and just abandoned you. Just look around. He still has not come to find you. Liu Nhyn turned instantly pale as if all her strength vanished. She slumped onto the bed, staring blankly up at the ceiling, whispering that it was impossible. She kept muttering, her voice so weak it was almost totally silent. My KB was not like that. He promised to love her forever. He would never leave her behind. I just stood at the doorway, coldly watching her lie to herself. She did this exact same thing before, completely enchanted by my KB and his sweet little words. Even though he lost his life in that accident, she still treated him like the brightest shining moon in her heart. Meanwhile, I, the guy who saved her, became the villain in her eyes. Believe it or not, I didn't care. I pocketed the phone, turning to walk away. Dip PHM, she called out to me suddenly. Her voice was trembling so much as she begged me to help her contact him. She just wanted to know why he had not visited. My footsteps paused. I turned my head back to look at her. Those eyes were full of pleading. Her once radiant face, now incredibly fragile and just painfully weak. If this was my past life, I would be completely heartbroken, throwing everything away to help her find my KB. Even knowing it would eventually hurt me, I would do it. But right now, it is just laughable. Why exactly should I help you? I asked her coldly. Whatever happens between you and my KB has absolutely nothing to do with me. Saying that, I ignored her calling out behind me and walked straight out of the hospital room, stepping right through those main front gates. The blinding sunlight made me squint my eyes a bit. I took a deep breath, feeling like this massive, heavy boulder in my chest was finally lifted away. In this new life, I do not need to live for Liu Nhyn anymore. I can finally just live completely for myself. For the next few days, I did not visit her once. My mom kept muttering about it, but seeing my firm attitude, she eventually gave up trying to force me. I began planning out my own life all over again. In my past life, just because of Liu Nhyn, I was stuck rolling a wheelchair every single day. abandoning my beloved architectural design career, living like a completely useless guy. But this time, I have to take back that dream. I contacted my old teacher, asking about new development directions in the industry, and then started preparing my design portfolio, planning to find a brand new job related to architecture again. I was fixing a design at home when my mom rushed in panicking. Dip PHM, things are bad. NHYN wants to hurt herself. My heart instantly gave a sharp jolt, even though I promised myself not to interfere anymore. Hearing that news still made me pretty anxious. Why would this suddenly happen? I dropped my work and rushed to the hospital with my mom. Arriving there, Liu NHYN was on the bed, her wrist wrapped in thick bandages, her face paper white. Her mom sat right beside her, crying and blaming herself. It is all my fault. I totally failed to watch over my little girl. But when she saw me, Liu NHYN's eyes were filled with pure despair and burning resentment. Dip PHM, are you finally satisfied now? She asked if I was thrilled seeing her like this. You can probably guess my response. I just stared quietly. Mr. Liu sighed heavily and told me, Dip PHM, please talk to NHYN. She refuses to listen to anyone right now. I frowned slightly, stepping up to the bed, looking straight at her. Do you really think hurting yourself solves absolutely everything? If you are gone, will my KB actually come back to see you? I asked coldly. Liu NHYN suddenly raised her head, glaring at me with totally venomous eyes. This is all your fault, she yelled. Everything is on you. I did nothing wrong. I replied with total calm. These were all your own choices. They have absolutely nothing to do with me. Liu NHYN froze up, clearly not expecting me to say those exact words. She opened her mouth to argue back, but could not force out a single syllable. Right at that exact moment, the hospital door was pushed open, and a very familiar figure stepped inside. Hearing that specific voice, Liu NHYN instantly whipped her head around. Her eyes totally light up. KB, you actually came. The man walking in is indeed my KB. He is wearing a slick designer suit, hair perfectly styled, looking quite a bit more mature than before. My KB steps right up to the bed, grabbing Liu NHYN's hand with a deeply pained look. NHYN, I'm so sorry I am late. He tells her he thought she would never look for him again, so he left in anger. But hearing she got hurt, he rushed right over. Liu NHYN leans into his chest, crying just like a little kid. KB, I honestly thought you did not want me anymore. My legs are completely ruined, she cries. But he tells her to stop talking nonsense. My KB gently pats her back, promising he will find the absolute best doctors to heal her. No matter what happens, he swears he will always stay by her side and love her. Hearing all this, Liu NHYN cries even harder, holding onto him tight. KB, you are so incredibly good. Meanwhile, just stand off to the side, completely cold. I'm just watching them, wondering how I never saw what a great actor my KB was in my past life. There is zero real love in his eyes, just pure calculation and raw ambition. The Liu parents look at him with a pretty complicated expression on their faces. They never really liked my KB, but seeing him treat their daughter so well makes them feel a bit relieved. My KB shoots me a quick glance, his eyes carrying a pretty obvious hint of challenge. Dip PHM, he says, thanks for taking care of NHYN these past few days. Now that I am here, you really don't need to worry anymore. I just smile without saying a single word, turning around and leaving the hospital room. Back home, Mom looks at me, totally worried. I find it kind of funny, dropping what I am holding. Mom, if you want to say something, just say it. She hesitates. A PHM, but today at the hospital, your dad and I were scared you felt upset. I cut her off. Those two are willing, let's not interfere. I really do not like Liu NHYN anymore. That so-called engagement or childhood promise was just a total joke. I am perfectly fine. My parents look a bit surprised, but then breathe a sigh of relief. A PHM, whatever you do, we support you. Just live for yourself now. But here is where things shift. From the day my KB shows up, Liu NHYN becomes a totally different person. Her previous despair vanishes completely, and she is suddenly full of life. Every single day she waits eagerly for him. And the second he appears, she chirps like a little bird right by his side, constantly talking and laughing. My KB really knows how to play the absolute perfect guy perfectly, visiting on time every single day, bringing her favorite foods, chatting with her, and even pretending to run everywhere to find a doctor for her crippled legs. But in reality, he just hires a few completely average doctors to fake it. Meanwhile, in front of the Liu parents, he acts incredibly devoted. Seeing this, her parents slowly change their view of him, even starting to think that maybe my KB actually loves their daughter for real. Only I know exactly that everything he does is just for the Liu family's wealth. Even if they aren't a legendary noble family, they are still pretty well off. Father Liu has his own stable company, while my KB just plays around all year with zero job. He has been targeting their fortune for a long time. 2 weeks later, I hear Liu Nhyn gets discharged. At that time, I'm busy interviewing at an architectural design firm when my phone rings with my mom calling. A PHM, hurry and come home right now. Nhyn is about to get engaged to my KB. I freeze for just a second before laughing. I know, Mom, I will head back after this interview. Hanging up, I just continue the interview. The interviewer seems highly satisfied with my resume and instantly decides to hire me right on the spot. An indescribable joy completely rises up in my heart. Finally, in this lifetime, I can actually make up for all the bitter regrets of my past life. Getting home, my mom is sitting on the sofa, sighing heavily. A PHM. How could Nhyn be acting this incredibly stupid right now? Anyone can see my KB is definitely not a good guy, yet she absolutely insists on getting engaged to him anyway. I take a sip of water, answering calmly. That is the path she chose. Just let her walk it to the very end. Stopping her is useless. My mom tries speaking, but I cut in. Mom, do not worry anymore, just focus on living your own life. Not long after, news of Liu Nhyn and my KB's engagement officially spreads out. They throw a grand party, inviting a huge crowd of relatives and friends to attend. You feel the irony here, right? Mom and I attend too, just sitting in a quiet corner, quietly watching Liu Nhyn in a beautiful gown while my KB pushes her wheelchair. Both of their faces are completely glowing with happy smiles. Seeing me, my IB grabs a wine glass and walks over, his face hanging this super fake smile. Dip PHM, thanks for coming to my engagement party with Nhyn. I just reply with a completely flat tone. Congratulations to you. I do not even touch the glass. He hands over. My KB does not mind at all, pulling his hand back, taking a sip himself, and saying, honestly, I really should thank you. If you hadn't stopped Nhyn back then, maybe she and I would never have actually reached this perfect day together. I look right at him, laughing softly. No need to thank me, that is just your shared destiny. Right, destiny, he says. My KB emphasizes his words with hidden meaning. From now on, I will treat Nhyn wonderfully. I won't let her suffer any grievance. That is good then, I reply. I stand up and speak quietly. I still have some business, leaving first. With that, I turn and walk straight out the hall. I can totally feel my KB's gaze sticking to my back, completely filled with smugness and raw provocation. I know he is showing off, bragging that he finally got Liu Nhyn, and secured all the Liu family wealth too. But he has absolutely no idea that everything he has right now is just an illusion, and sooner or later, it will all vanish. He had absolutely no clue that I had already started investigating him. In my past life, I suffered completely at his hands. This time around, I absolutely won't let him get his way so easily. I asked an old friend to dig into my KB. The results? Insane. Turns out, the guy isn't just a lazy freeloader. He actually has a serious criminal record for fraud. Right after the engagement, he made his move. My KB used caring for Liu Nhyn as a convenient excuse to move directly into the Liu house. Soon enough, he started meddling in their family's business operations. On the surface, he acted incredibly respectful toward Uncle Liu, but secretly, he was busy copying down all the client information along with the company's entire financial process. At first, Uncle Liu was pretty guarded, but my KB, a smooth talker with endless excuses, he used Liu Nhyn to whisper sweet words into her father's ear. That slowly made him drop his guard, eventually handing over major business decisions for the guy to handle. Meanwhile, Liu Nhyn was just completely drowning in her own little bubble of happiness. Every day, she just waited for my KB to return, or she sat applying makeup. She totally forgot her unhealed legs, her old dreams, and even forgot the one guy she had bitterly resented her entire life, me. As for me, I poured absolutely everything into my work. Thanks to my past life memories, my performance was completely off the charts. My bosses quickly noticed. They rewarded me with a nice promotion and a solid raise. In my free time, I personally redesigned an entire house, planning it as a huge surprise gift for my parents. As the days rolled by, the atmosphere inside the Liu home slowly grew rather strange. Then one day after work, walking past their floor, pay close attention here, I heard loud arguments echoing from the Liu house. My KB, tell me the absolute truth. Where did you go last night? Why didn't you come home at all? Liu Nhyn sounded totally furious and heartbroken. Didn't I already tell you? The company had an emergency. I had to work overtime. My KB sounded incredibly impatient right then. Overtime? Who exactly are you trying to fool? I called the company to check. They explicitly told me you left early. Liu Nhyn only got louder. You have someone else, don't you? What kind of nonsense are you talking about? My KB was getting visibly angry. I work myself to the bone for this house, for your leg treatment, and yet you doubt me. Liu Nhyn, do not push it. You are going way too far. She burst into tears. My KB, did you just forget? You said you would love me forever. You swore you would always stay by my side. And now, besides lying to my face, what else can you even do? That is absolutely enough. My KB roared back. Do you honestly think you are still the high and mighty Liu family princess? Right now, you are totally disabled. If it was not for your parents, I would have broken up with you a long time ago. My KB finally showed his true colors. I didn't stick around to listen. I just headed straight home. My mom saw me and quickly asked, a PHM, did you hear that? Nhyn and my KB are fighting again. That guy is getting more unreasonable by the day. I nodded. His goal was almost reached. Of course, he didn't need to pretend anymore. But what about Nhyn? My mom looked totally worried. If he really abandons her, how will she even survive? She chose this path herself, I replied. Even if she cries, she has to finish it. I answered coldly. We can't help her, and we shouldn't. Only when she tasted herself will she finally understand just how massively she messed up. I paused for a brief second before asking, oh, right, Mom. I told you to keep an ear out regarding Uncle Liu's company financial situation. Did you happen to hear anything new? My mom nodded. Aunt Liu mentioned the other day that my KB keeps making him sign random papers. But since Nhyn was right there with them, they didn't pay much attention to what the contents actually were. Got it now. I pulled out my phone. I gathered all the solid evidence of my KB's past fraud, plus clues about him currently moving the Liu family assets, and sent it straight to Uncle Liu's assistant. I had actually contacted this assistant pretty early on. He had followed Uncle Liu for many years, naturally hated my KB's guts, and had been secretly helping me track every single shady move that guy ever made. Over the following days, the screaming matches in the Liu house became incredibly frequent. My KB came home later and later. Sometimes he vanished for the whole night. Liu Nhyn's mental state just collapsed completely. Her pillow was soaked with tears every single day. Her temper grew totally erratic, and she even snapped harshly at her own mother multiple times. Her father, who was still fully dedicated to caring for her well-being, finally noticed something was terribly wrong. Combined with the hard evidence provided by his assistant, Uncle Liu actively began investigating my KB. But the deeper he dug, this is wild, the more horrifying the truth became. My KB wasn't just keeping women on the side. He was quietly draining company assets, dragging all of the Liu family's clients over to a brand new company officially registered under his own name. Uncle Liu got so unbelievably furious, he fainted right on the spot and was rushed to the ER. Hearing the news, Liu Nhyn just completely broke down. She sat on the hospital bed, her eyes totally empty. She kept muttering non-stop, no way, impossible. How could KB do something like this to me? When my mom and I went to the hospital to visit Uncle Liu, we coincidentally ran right into Liu Nhyn. She looked at me, eyes filled with regret and pure despair, trembling as she called out my name. Dip PHM, I was wrong. I was really so wrong. I said absolutely nothing, just watching her quietly. I should have listened to you. I shouldn't have trusted my KB's sweet lies. She just burst out crying right there. I honestly thought he loved me, but he only wanted my family's fortune. What is even the point of my life anymore? I just replied in a completely calm voice. You are already married. I am just a neighbor. Please be mindful and keep your distance. You know you were wrong now, but it is way too late. Liu Nhyn froze up completely. Aren't we supposed to be friends? Can't I just confide in you? We are just neighbors, absolutely nothing more. And I'm definitely not your emotional dumping ground. I said it pretty coldly, turning around and walking right out of that hospital room without looking back. Liu's father eventually woke up, but his health was seriously failing. The company was standing right on the edge of complete bankruptcy because my KB had drained all the assets. The Liu family fell straight from the very top, right down to the absolute bottom. My KB completely revealed his true, nasty colors. He didn't just steal every single asset the Liu family had. He even brought his other woman right into their house to live. He didn't hold back on insulting Liu Nhin. Living in pure misery and total despair, she finally started regretting everything. That day, Liu Nhin dragged her crippled legs, struggling just to reach my house. Standing at my door, hair totally messy, her gaunt face completely soaked in tears. Dip PHM, I am begging you, please save me. I opened the door and gave her a look, feeling absolutely nothing inside. All that sympathy, all my past affection. She completely wiped it out herself with her bitter resentment and harsh curses. Why should I even save you? I asked casually. Liu Nhin collapsed to the ground, tears pouring out like a total river. Dip PHM, I know I was wrong. I really know I messed up. I shouldn't have blamed you, and I never should have trusted my KB. Please, just do it for our old feelings. Save me. Save the Liu family, please. I just looked at her, slowly shaking my head. Old feelings? There's absolutely nothing left between us anymore. In the past, I saved you, and all I got in return was endless resentment. This time I didn't stop you. I let you choose your own path, and this is the exact result. You brought all of this entirely on yourself. I really can't help you. No, you can definitely help me. Liu Nhin gripped my pant legs super tight, crying and begging so desperately. Dip PHM, I know you still love me deep down. You definitely still love me, right? If you just help me now, I will stay with you forever, and I'll never, ever make you angry again. I let out a cold laugh, brushing her hand right off me. Love you? I stopped loving you a really long time ago. Liu Nhin, wake up already. Stop lying to your own self. She just froze, staring up at me with eyes completely full of pure despair. No, that's impossible. How could you possibly not love me? Right then, her eyes suddenly shifted, like she just realized something crazy. Snapping her head up, her voice totally shaking. Dip PHM, the past you actually came back from the past too, didn't you? I nodded, not even trying to deny it. Yeah, I tried to stop you before, tried to save you, but you just hated me for it. Forever. This time around, I let you make your own choices, and now, you're seeing your own ending. Liu Nhin's tears started pouring out even harder now. So it is completely true. You really did come back. Dip PHM. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I was completely wrong before. I shouldn't have blamed everything entirely on you. And I definitely shouldn't have hated you. It's all in the past now, I said super calmly. Just let the past completely fade away. This time we go our separate ways. Just finding peace is enough. I can't just let it all go like that. Liu Nhin got super worked up, her voice totally choking. My KB, that absolute jerk ruined me. Ruined my entire family. I absolutely cannot let him get away. I just looked at her, slowly shaking my head, then turned to close it. She hurriedly pulled the door back, completely done crying now, just quietly pulling an envelope from her little cloth bag and placing it right on the tea table. Inside are two separate letters, one meant for my parents, and one meant for you. Her fingers gently brushed over the envelope, almost as if she was trying to confirm something really important. Once I am totally gone, can you please hand this to them? Don't say anything beforehand. They really won't handle the shock well. I grabbed the envelope, my fingertips, feeling the thickness inside, already guessing most of what it meant. In the past, right up until the very end, she held absolute resentment toward me. Crazy how that works, right? People only see what truly matters when they hit absolute rock bottom. As for my KB, what are you planning to do? I asked her straight up. Liu Nhin's body trembled slightly, and just as I reached out to support her, she stepped back. Stay away, I don't need your worry. Her voice still held some real stubbornness, but that old hostility, completely gone. What I owe you, and my parents, I could never repay it in a whole lifetime. I can only use my own way to finally end this whole mess. I looked at her, speaking in a really low voice. I can help take care of your parents, and I can handle the aftermath for you. But you better think this through. I paused for a second, then spoke straight. If you're gone forever, your parents will spend their entire lives trapped in the dark shadow of your permanent exit. Liu Nhin's tears suddenly started falling again, gripping her head, her voice totally desperate. I just can't think straight anymore. My KB already moved all the company's money away. My dad is stuck in the hospital. Me unging around only makes them suffer more. But before I fade out, I am definitely dragging my KB down with me. That guy completely destroyed absolutely everything I had. So why on earth does he get to walk away totally free from the law? Watch closely. I didn't say another word, because once someone's mind is totally made up, giving advice is absolutely useless. I stood up and poured her a glass of warm water. Have a little drink. Liu Nhyn took it, her hands gripping it until her knuckles turned totally white. But she didn't drink, just placed it down and slowly got into her wheelchair. Reaching the door, she suddenly turned her head back to look at me, whispering softly, "Thank you." 2 words she literally never said before, even up to her final breath. When Liu Nhyn got back to the Liu house, my KB was sitting on the living room sofa, taking a call. His tone was so incredibly smug. "Yeah, I've already transferred all the Liu family's money straight into an overseas account. Once I finish handling this absolute trash over here, I'll come straight to you. That crippled girl? Whatever. Once I'm gone, just let her and that sick old man waste away together." Liu Nhyn didn't say a single word, just quietly pushing her wheelchair right into the kitchen. The fridge is completely empty, holding just a few potatoes and some wilted greens her mom bought yesterday. She carefully washes the potatoes, slices them, and soaks the veggies. She has never done any of this before. Coming from a home with maids, she never even washed a single bowl. But now, she has to do it all herself. To cook my KB his final meal. My KB hangs up. He walks into the kitchen, sees her cooking, and just laughs, asking if she finally figured it out and learned her place to serve him. Liu Nhyn doesn't even turn around, quietly tossing the potatoes into the pan. Oil splatters, leaving red marks on her skin, but she couldn't care less. "Don't go out tonight," she tells him. "I made your favorite." Her voice is strangely calm, totally empty of any real emotion. My KB freezes up for a second, probably not expecting her to say that at all. He looks right at her, seeing her hair. It hides her face completely. Thinking she finally submitted, he smugly sits down at the table, scrolling through videos on his phone and just laughing out loud. By the time food is served, night falls. Liu Nhyn brings the stir-fried potatoes and greens to the table, then pulls out a bottle of red wine. It is the exact bottle my KB bought years ago to celebrate their forever love. She opens it and pours 2 glasses, placing one right in front of my KB and keeping the other. "Have a drink," she says, "relax a bit." My KB takes a sip, his eyes full of pure disgust. He mutters about how this cheap stuff isn't worth his time, but he still drains the whole glass anyway. Liu Nhyn just watches him, slowly lifting her own glass to take a sip. That sour, bitter taste of the wine spreading in her mouth perfectly matches her 2 lifetimes of absolute misery. Only today does she finally understand who actually cared about her. My KB takes a few bites, but suddenly, his throat starts to tighten up completely. Now watch his face right here. He frowns, reaching out for his water, but his hand is shaking totally out of control. "What did you put in this?" He glares at her, pure panic setting in. Liu Nhyn sets her glass down. She looks at him with a slight curve on her lips, not trying to please him, not bitter, just completely free. "What is in it does not matter," she whispers. "You are coming with me." My KB tries to stand up, but crashes hard onto the floor. He struggles desperately, trying to crawl toward the door, but his limbs are already going numb. "You crazy woman, if I go down, you are not making it either." His voice fades out as his face turns completely pale. Liu Nhyn sits in her wheelchair, staring at him with total calm. "I never planned to stick around anyway," she tells him. "My KB, you played with my feelings, stole my family's fortune, and made my parents suffer. Did you really think you could just walk away from this? Thought moving the money overseas would keep you perfectly safe?" She pulls a piece of paper from her pocket and drops it right in front of my KB. His eyes bulge out, trying to speak, but only weak gasping sounds escape. Staring at her with pure resentment and absolute refusal, his eyes finally, slowly slide shut forever. Liu Nhyn sits on the floor, looking at my KB's unmoving figure and laughing. That smile slowly turns into tears, a heavy mix of crying and laughing. She grabs the wine bottle from the table, pours another glass, downs it all, then leans back in her wheelchair, gently closing her eyes. Around 11 p.m., I get a sudden call from Liu Nhyn's parents. Over the phone, they tell me both Liu Nhyn and my KB are gone, begging me to hurry over there right away. "You feel that dread, right?" I just hang up, grab a jacket, and sprint outside. My mind goes totally blank, only echoing her very last words. By the time I reach the Liu house, the police have already set up a perimeter, with several officers collecting evidence from the scene. An officer walks over and asks if I am a friend of Liu Nhin. I just nod. He explains that they found a letter right inside Liu Nhin's pocket. It clearly stated that she planned everything entirely on her own, with zero involvement from anyone else. At the same time, her phone held concrete evidence sent to the police. My KB's offshore money transfer accounts and every single chat log connected to his massive scam. The police rule it as a final act of absolute revenge. They mentioned that the guy was actually already under active investigation for major fraud and embezzlement. Nobody expected it would end in this kind of tragedy. Nearby, Liu Nhin's parents are crying so hard they almost pass out, barely forcing themselves up to head to the station for a statement. I suddenly remember the envelope she left at my place earlier. I quickly tell the police I have something to hand over to Liu Nhin's parents. At the station, I gently hand them the envelope. They open it with shaking hands, revealing her familiar handwriting inside. "Mom, Dad, I am so sorry. My stubbornness made you both suffer. I have no face left to ask for forgiveness, so I can only take out my KB and leave with him. Is a PHM there? I chose the wrong person in this life. Please let him take good care of you both. I will see you in the next life." The paper is still stained with dried tears. Reading this, my heart feels completely shattered, and I can only silently pray we never cross paths in the next life. Stepping out of the station, a light rain starts falling, the freezing drops hitting my face. After finishing the arrangements for Liu Nhin, her parents are completely exhausted and have to be hospitalized for treatment. The very next day, go visit. Her mother looks at me, whispering, "A PHM, you came." Her voice carries so much heavy exhaustion. I just sit beside her without a word, quietly staying there. With some kinds of pain, an outsider's comfort is completely useless. You can only slowly endure it all by yourself. At first, her mother just cries softly, but soon she starts sobbing, her shoulders shaking violently. I hand her a tissue, and she wipes her eyes, choking up as she tells me her daughter wanted them to stay strong and live well. Her voice breaks entirely. She says that right until the very end, that child only thought of them, yet they completely failed to protect her. I watch her with a heavy heart. The people Liu Nhin owed the most in this life were always her own parents. They loved her with everything they had, yet she threw her whole future away for someone completely worthless, dragging her parents into this endless heartbreak. For the next few days, I make sure to visit Liu Nhin's parents at the hospital every single day. On the third day, her father finally wakes up. When he hears that his daughter is truly gone, he stays completely silent before breaking down. The tears just pour out. He does not blame Liu Nhin at all, only saying he failed to guide his daughter away from the wrong path. Because my KB drained all their assets, the Liu family company is now standing right on the absolute edge of bankruptcy. I help her, Dad. Contact a lawyer to clean up the mess. The lawyer says most of the stolen assets can actually be recovered, but the company itself is completely beyond saving. Filing for bankruptcy is their only real option left at this point. Her father just nods. He says it is fine, as long as they get the money back so he and his wife have some security in their old age. He also mentions that once his health improves, he plans to take Mother Liu back to their hometown to live. The air out there is fresh and peaceful, making it the perfect place to retire. A month later, he leaves the hospital. I help them pack up the old house, but we leave Liu Nhin's room exactly as it was. We do not touch a single thing, almost as if she is still living there. Mother Liu softly says she will come back whenever she misses her. I tell them about my plans for a new house. I want to build a place with the garden where they can live together with my own parents. Liu Nhin's parents are stunned. You can really see the weight lift off them. They smile and agree, saying it sounds great to have everyone live together and simply look out for each other. When construction starts, her parents head to the countryside first to get used to the quiet life. Once the house is finally finished, I bring them right back to the city. Seeing the new place brings huge, glowing smiles to their faces. Mother Liu steps into the garden and gently touches the blooming rose bushes. She whispers that if Nhin could see this beautiful garden, she would absolutely love it. Her father nods in agreement, saying she always loved flowers since she was little. But then he stops talking, letting out a long, heavy sigh. That evening, all four parents and I sit down for our very first meal in the new house. My mom cooks up an entire table full of delicious food. Mother Liu chips in to help out too. Laughter completely fills the living room. Looking at their bright, happy faces, I suddenly feel like Liu Nhyin's deepest wish has finally, truly been fulfilled. She always hoped her parents could live a good life, and she hoped I could freely chase after my own dreams. And now, every single bit of that has become reality. After dinner, I sit alone in the garden, watching the stars shining above. Inside, both sets of parents are playing cards. The joyful laughter makes the whole scene feel incredibly warm and perfect. A gentle breeze blows past, carrying the faint, sweet scent of roses, fresh and entirely peaceful. I just know that the days ahead are only going to get better and better.